As a boy, I would look at all these videos and pictures and think, how cool would it be if I could be on that trip?
There's just not anything like it that I know in the world.
Hello everybody, I'm Tim Heising, founder and CEO of LUEX Surf and Snow Travel. We launched this podcast to gain first-hand knowledge straight from our resort, lodge and boat partners about the impact of the coronavirus pandemic on surf travel. They have the closest ties to the local media, government, and just know best. My guests today are Nathan Kemp, Surf Development Director at Niyama Private Island Resort in the beautiful Maldives. Haf Al-Busaidy, General Manager at Niyama Private Island Resort, and Marty Jenner, Head of Sales at LUEX. Good day, guys. How are you?
We're fine. We're in the middle of an unusual rainstorm at the moment.
That's part of the deal in the Maldives, right?
It's part of island life, yeah.
Now about the most important part, and let's get to the impact of the pandemic on surf travel to the Maldives and Niyama. So what's the current situation on the island?
Well, the island has been officially closed on the 4th of April. We haven't received guests probably since, I don't know, 20th of March. But officially we shut down around the 4th of April when the last of our guests left. And since then we've been getting our team members home to their various countries and locales, which is interesting, not very easy. There are no flights coming into the Maldives currently for visitors, and the Maldives government has stopped issuing visas for tourists. So there are no tourists coming into the Maldives. There are still a few tourists on a couple of islands sort of trying to ride it out. Not many, just a few. Sadly, none here. But yeah, that's the current situation. With us. The Maldives has been pretty good about sort of controlling the spread of the virus here. I mean, obviously it being, 1,500 little islands scattered across the Indian Ocean, they do have some natural advantages about being able to isolate places. So as you can see, me and Nathan we're not social distancing.
Okay.
We've been here for over a month. No one's arrived onto the island since then. So it's just the small team that gets smaller every day here on the island, taking care of things, making sure we're ready to reopen.
Okay, so do you have any dates you want to reopen?
Sorry, when would we like to reopen?
Yes.
I would like to reopen in about 5 minutes if you want to send us someone. But sadly, the reality is a little bit different. As there's no visas being issued, the first hurdle to get past is that the Maldives government feels it's safe and appropriate to start reissuing visas. There have been a couple of scenarios that they've talked about. July has been thrown around as a possible date. We are seeing quite a few bookings for October. And November and December already starting to appear. So we would assume that by October we should be operational. But again, after they allow visas to be issued, again, we need to wait for airlines to start servicing the Maldives. As it's purely a tourist destination, we may not be on the top of everybody's list. But we have had indication that Emirates will fly and Qatar will fly into the Maldives beginning of July. That was the last information we heard.
I heard that Qatar is still flying. And
Sorry?
I heard that Qatar is still flying to the Maldives.
Qatar still flies to the Maldives. They are doing repatriation flights only.
Mm-hmm.
So because it's such a great hub, and to be honest, Qatar's never stopped, but it's maybe once every 2 weeks. Now they'll put a flight on to try and help us repatriate some of our team members. So we have normally on the island about 510 team members, and we're down to about 200 now. Some countries it's very difficult because they're completely blocked, particularly our neighbors Sri Lanka are not accepting any arrivals. Bangladesh as well has closed its borders. So they make up the majority of the people left on the island who we still need to find a way home. But Qatar, for the rest, has been relatively steady. They've had flights come in every couple of weeks to take them into Doha, and then from Doha to various parts of the world. So we're getting people out that way. And we expect Qatar to be one of the first to open up. And as they have such a good network, that will be a great benefit.
Yeah, perfect. I mean, Qatar is flying or basically bringing clients from all the different client markets, such as the US, Australia, Asia, and Europe. So it would be, I mean, according to my information that I have, is once the travel restrictions are lifted, probably the major airlines will start operations actually quite soon again, according to demand.
We would hope so. Again, I think it depends on where these airlines are originating from, or if they're truly international airlines. So airlines like Singapore, Qatar, Etihad, Emirates, we expect to start operating quite quickly within their networks because they truly are quite international. Airlines that are more either originating domestically, like Aeroflot or other airlines like that, may take a little bit more time to put the Maldives on their list.
Right. And I've just read an article from the tourism minister in the Maldives, mm-hmm. and he basically said that in an optimistic scenario they would open July.
Yep.
And in probably the most likely scenario, they would open in around like September, October. And in probably the most pessimistic scenario, they would open only by December this year. So what's your opinion? Like, what do you think?
Well, you know, the Maldives lives on tourism. I think the big question that everyone asks is not just when it opens, but how it opens. Will there be restrictions on certain countries coming in? Will there be a little passport stamp to see if people have been tested before they arrive? So we're not sure on the manner in which they're planning to open. I know they're working on a document to share with the resorts that should make this a little bit clearer to us. But I believe they will try and open at least markets they believe are relatively safe as quickly as they can, to try and get people back to work. So we hope for the best and prepare for the worst.
Right.
Makes sense.
Right.
So Haf, you're offering much better booking terms as well at the moment, right? In case of any issues for travel.
Yeah, we have realized that obviously people are not only concerned about their safety and welfare, but they're concerned about how flexible we can be with regards to their travel plans. So we have reduced our timelines for cancellation dramatically. I think it's 5 days at the moment. And our prepayment policy as well has been radically reduced. I mean, this is to give people a little bit more flexibility. You know, we understand the situation is difficult for people making plans, so they don't want to be in a situation where they're putting a lot of money into a situation which may not materialize. So as flexible as we can be is our approach. The reason we do put a sort of 5-day limit is we organize seaplane transfers and other things. And again, they have requirements from us as well. So it's just to try and to work with all of our partners to try and make things as easy as possible.
No, I think that helps a lot. As far as I understand, there's also some options for changing dates should the pandemic continue, which also helps.
Yeah, we are offering rebooking options for 18 months on bookings made. So, and we're trying to ease the restrictions on those as well. So as much as we can, sort of make sure that the bookings. Sorry, I just got to protect the laptop here. We're getting a bit wet. Sorry, as much as we can protect the bookings and the confidence of people who can make a booking and say, okay, we want to come, which is important for us. You know, we want to understand how many people want to come back. And we want to prepare for them.
Sure. Yeah. No, helps a lot.
Because obviously, how the resort looks will also change depending on the number of people that come back. What kind of services and facilities will be available will also depend on the numbers of people. We do expect to open with relatively small numbers, which I think for a lot of people will be wonderful. They get the whole place to themselves, which is not only fun, but it's reassuring. But that means we probably won't open all of our restaurants. We may open a couple and rotate around that. As many services as we can have open. Obviously, our spa will be open. The pools will be open. The beaches never close. The waves never stop. So there's some things that we don't have to worry about.
Well, I think surfers appreciate less people on the island.
Sorry, can you say that again?
I think the surfers will appreciate less people on the island and to have breaks for themselves. I mean, Niyama's
never been a crowded break. I mean, Bodhi's always been pretty uncrowded most of the time. But now, you know, sometimes I go out and I watch Nathan surf for 3 or 4 hours in an evening. And he's the only guy. And I feel maybe he's a bit lonely. It's just him and the turtles, 2 dolphins going by.
Let's get him some surf friends.
It
kind of forces me to take the boogie board out and join him.
Yeah. So I definitely going to be the first ones to visit Nathan. I definitely gonna be one of the first ones to visit you again.
Yeah, great bonus to be some of the first.
Perfect. Are you using or are you installing some extra Corona measurements, hygiene standards on the island, social distancing? How do you adapt?
Yeah. We have obviously Minor International, our parent company, has issued us quite detailed guidelines on a pre-opening checklist to be what they consider COVID safe. Obviously, this is in relationship with partners that we work with, obviously WHO, Ecolab, and Diversity, which are our sanitary and health providers on the island. So we have quite an exhaustive list. I won't go through all the boring details, but the islands themselves are already set up. We don't have to worry so much about things like spacing and room turnaround because our rooms are quite far apart. There's never been an issue with crowding on the island. Even when we're full, it still feels as if you've got the place to yourself sometimes. And you know, the other things will be the increase in cleaning method and products, the availability of certain things for guests, the adjustment to how we do F&B, particularly buffets, menu delivery. These sort of things are all being considered. So we will have quite a extensive list of changes. We do want to offer still the same personalized service that we always have, and you normally have one butler that you interact with during your stay here. So again, that lends itself to being a bit safe. So, the island's pretty well set up for this. We haven't had a case on the island since the outbreak, which makes us all susceptible, I guess.
Right.
But on the same time, it's been a bit of a green zone here. We also consider getting you here, so we're working with the seaplane companies and our limousine services at the airport, as well as our lounge there. Again, that will require some spacing. But generally speaking, we think there will be differences, but I believe that it's not going to really impact the way guests enjoy Niyama at all.
Oh, yeah.
So I would imagine that, for us in our markets, that Maldives is probably one of the more popular destinations in those times, because social distancing and hygiene standards and crowd factors, they are much better in the Maldives than anywhere else. Really?
Yeah, we believe that too. We believe that the Maldives really has something special to offer during these times. It is isolated. The islands are singular resorts. You don't have people coming and going. You're only ever going to meet people who are actually on the island, and only as many as you want to. You can spend a very active holiday here on the island alone if you want. Without interacting with anybody but the people that you arrived with. So yes, there is a huge benefit for the Maldives. That the standards of service and quality of service is also extremely high. So our new cleanliness regimes are not an issue, and we're taking steps to remove high-touch items from rooms, to focus on digital information sharing, and even if you want to only speak to your butler digitally, we can do that as well. So, okay. It depends. I think we used to have, or we still do have, a preference sheet on our website, which allows a guest to choose how engaged they want their interaction. And we're updating that at the moment to take into consideration concerns people may have. So we can ask them, how engaged do you want to be for whatever reasons, and we'll manage that. It's also to keep our team members safe as well.
Perfect.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nathan, we have introduced you to Niyama 2 years ago, and eventually you joined Niyama as a surf development director in late 2018. How do you like it there?
Well, what's really not to like here in the Maldives? Water's warm, the resort's beautiful, it's lush, it's green, and then there's Busaidy, which is an amazing wave that you can just access straight from the shore. So I'm thoroughly enjoying my time in the Maldives with Niyama, definitely.
Perfect, sounds good. So how's surf life during the lockdown? Are you able to surf a lot?
I am able to surf a lot, and even more so now. So I'm kind of surfing my brains out, which is good.
One of the lucky few.
Yeah,
nice.
Without rubbing it in, it's one of the better places to be during this world event.
Are you the only surfer on Niyama right now, or is there more employees surfing?
Well, Half sometimes gets out there occasionally.
Oh, that's perfect, Half.
And then our dive director, he surfs a little bit. So, but other than that, it's just me. You. Yeah.
And Nathan, would you expect any impact on the surf services, or is that all gonna be as before?
Well, there'll be some impact, but the changes won't affect. Are we surfing Busaidy? Yes, we're going to be surfing Busaidy. Are we going to be surfing the other waves around? We're getting on boats and going there. Yes, we'll be doing that too. So they'll just be precautionary in how we're getting on the boats and off the boats and who's handling the gear. again, just to protect the staff and the surfers. So the surf services will look similar to how they are now. So if you want to learn to surf, you'll be able to learn to surf. If you want to go surfing, you'll definitely be able to do that.
And Nathan, prior to this call, you mentioned that the late surf season is actually really good.
Yeah, well, Niyama, we are in the central atolls, so we're quite a bit away from Malé, which some people can see as a drawback, but once you actually get here, it's actually a huge benefit. We face southwest, so a lot of these swells that are originating are coming from the southwest and then tracking eastwards. So we have a longer surf season than other breaks in the Maldives, which means last year we had waves all the way through December. In December, we had 2 great swells, 12 plus days of fantastic conditions, and about 18 days of very good surfable, shortboardable conditions. And then in November, the same 18 days of good shortboardable conditions. So the rest of the Maldives, the season kind of end in October. But for us, it just goes longer. And I've still scored swells in January and February. So that's a huge benefit that we have. That's, of course, when the wind is also perfect and the weather in the Maldives is the most perfect. So you just get these idyllic days of, when you see the pics of the Maldives in the magazines and online, it's a lot of times that time of year as well.
It's also a great time, as I understand, if you don't want the biggest swells possible, but you're looking for a nice, consistent shoulder high wave this late season
yeah. Well, that swell I mentioned, when we had Bruno Santos come last December, that was overhead. That was a proper swell. But I mean, there was 4 of us here that were surfers, because people think Maldives December I'm not going. I won't get waves, but we did, and it was awesome. And there was literally no wind, so it was one of those magic days, or few sets of days that we had. Yeah, it was definitely something to be considered.
Perfect. Martin, do you have more questions, or do you guys have any questions for us?
Yeah, we were wondering just how it's been for you guys through this whole process, adjusting bookings, and what you guys have done for your clients and what the future can hold for them as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously been pretty tough as well for us, pandemic situation throughout the travel industry. Ultimately, the service we offer still remains the same. We understand people are a bit more hesitant to book at the moment, so it's why we're trying to talk to our partners like you guys and focus on getting the best booking terms and conditions as opposed to just the best rates, so that just to give a bit more confidence for people to book again. We had many trips affected. It was right into crisis mode, I guess, for our team, and working towards getting people. Also, we had people stranded, helping them get home, extend their stays in the Maldives and in other countries, and just working to try and minimize the effect for everyone, basically. We basically, it's been pretty tough, but I'm quite proud of what we've managed to achieve and had everything go relatively smoothly so far. So it's it's looking still confident for it to pick back up imminently and get right back on track.
It's good to hear.
And yeah, Tim, I have a question really about if there's things that you want us to work with you on, or things that you want us to do to make it easier for you in any way with your business, just to let us know.
Yeah, obviously, it would be good if you could give us regular updates. Yeah, whenever you hear something from the politicians about travel restrictions or the lifting of travel restrictions, that would be highly appreciated. I mean, we also may want to have those podcasts become a regular thing because there's so many changes, if you don't mind.
No problem.
I think it's highly interesting for our clients to see the opinions of our partners directly. And the more flexible you are with booking terms, the better it will be for us. And then we keep working together as we did in the past, on a very high level, very good level. And let's stay in touch, really.
Yeah, thank you.
Sounds like a plan.
I guess that's it then. Thank you very much. That was great talking to you. Thanks for all the updates. And thanks to all the listeners. Let's start traveling again as quickly as possible. Please feel free to check in with us via LUEX.com. We love to assist you and to set up your next trip. We do offer great deals with a lot of flexibility and free changes of dates, no cancellation charges, or other means to make your booking safe as possible. You can also purchase gift vouchers for your loved ones that they can redeem once international travel becomes possible again. Thanks a lot. And
Thank you, guys.
Cheers, guys. Hopefully see you soon.
We at LUEX are all about finding the best trips for you, for your requirements, your ability level, your taste and preferred style. Just the best options in the world.
LUEX offers you the world's largest selection of travel packages. We can offer you hundreds of unique and absolutely amazing travel experiences. No matter how special your requirements are, we will have the right option for you, guaranteed. The choice is only one side of the coin. The other one is the LUEX Objective Expert Advice to help you select the best option available. We have visited all destinations ourselves and know exactly what package will suit you and what won't. We also guarantee you the best available prices. In the unlikely case that anybody offers you the same package at a lower rate, just let us know and we will beat that price for you. We will be there for you 24/7, and we will spend as much time with you as it takes to find the best travel package possible and to assist you before, during and after your trip. Last but not least, you will enjoy the highest customer protection possible. Check out our website for details. We are living on repeat business and will make sure you get what you deserve.
Seen enough? Well, then give us a call if you want to ride the most amazing waves or some of the world's finest powder. Just check out LUEX.com.